Hello and welcome. This video will be about the struggles I had making my RGB light. This is based off of a Lithophane. On the screen right now you will see a Lithophane Nightlight. I will put this in the link in the description below where you can find the files to make one yourself. They are great gifts and the guy that made the site has a lot of great videos on them. Let's get started. I'm using Blender 2.91. I added an image as a plane. If you don't see this in your add menu, then you need to turn it on in the preference. I tried to follow multiple tutorials to get all the pieces that I needed, so it's a lot of trial and error. I subdivided the plane by 100, then I added a subdivision modifier and changed the viewport number. The settings will keep changing as I go. Then I added a displacement modifier set the strength to -0.02. And changed the coordinates to UV. I changed the texture to the picture that I'm going to use, then changed the UV map to UV map. The plane should look like this. It's kind of flat and other settings will need to be messed with. Here's the finished shape that I went with. The lid is made of 3 pieces. I did this so that I could adjust the depth of the base as I changed the settings. Now you just gotta keep changing the picture and saving the STL file. I used Cure and sliced the files from a 3D printer. There was a lot of going back and forth. I would end up with holes in my prints. To fix the holes you need to adjust the strength and change the Z dimensions so that you have the right amount of space. If the top is too close to the base, then it will give you holes, or make it too thin. Either way, my printer did not like it. Here are some of the mistakes I made. The one thing I don't like about 3D printers are the time that it takes to print something. It takes hours to find out you did it wrong. Don't mind the tape. I'm using my DLSR and it's the only way I know where to place the items. You want the dark areas to be the high spots and light areas thinner. That way the light will show through. As you can see, I did it wrong and had to reprint it again. You can also see how the supports are set up. Took me around a day and a half per lid with my default printer settings. So I tried FreeCAD for the first time. Finding tutorials were a little harder. If you use it or something like it, then you know by what you see here that I forgot to do something to the base first. I figured it out eventually. You have to turn the solid to a mesh before you can edit it. I don't know any of the hotkeys and the measurements are roughly where I want the holes to go. I also messed up and forgot that I would be scaling the base, so the size for the holes changed. I decided to make washers because by the time I figured it out, I already printed all my bases. The washers worked very well, a little too well. I used 2 per bolt. They fit so well I didn't really need to use the nuts, but I wanted to make sure that everything stayed in place. If you are wondering about the shape of the washers, it's so that there's room for the light strip underneath them. So I don't know how to solder, so I decided to use the connectors instead. I figured it might help if I ever wanted to change the pattern anyway. They just slide in, just make sure that the colors match. As you can see here, I didn't fully seat one of the strips, and a few of the lights didn't work properly. You can twist the cap on or push from behind to take it off. Here's the back so you can see how it all looks put together. I still need to glue the power cord holder to the base. I hope you enjoyed this video. Even though it's not a tutorial, I hope that it helps if you're planning on making one yourself. If you don't want to do all the work, I do have the blend file on my Patreon. Pictures not included. You will still have to play with the settings to get it right for your project. If you are subscribed and liked the video, then much appreciated. If not, please do if you like the content and want to see more. I hope you all have an amazing and safe day.